Now, the swing you're seeing here is of my student Bill. Now, Bill has an absolutely amazing golf swing, and for someone in his 70s, I would be happy with this level of rotation in my golf swing. So we're gonna go through exactly how he does that. He just has a swing that is perfectly in the environment to be able to rotate. He has the variables in his golf swing. He has the things you all need, and the body reacts and rotates how we want it to. So let's dive into a swing analysis here of Bill's swing and dive into it, and also talk about some good stuff you can do to be able to get this into your golf swing too. So guys, let's have a dive into Bill's swing here. Why Bill can rotate so nicely in his golf swing despite being a senior golfer. So let's have a little look here. So first things first, in a very, very good setup position. You can see he's got a very nice spine position here. He's not got too much lower spine curvature, which is going to be a video coming out about that very soon. He's in a very comfortable spot, especially with the armpits going down over to the balls of the feet. So he's in a position just in his setup, starting off, to be able to rotate well and stay in his posture. So let's dive through the swing here. So let's go from position to position and talk about it. So here we go. So first move in that takeaway, we can see most important thing here, club face is matching his spine angle. So it's staying square to the arc. Very, very nice. So let's continue to go back. We can see really good, nice rotation up to the top of the swing. Now, if we stop here, we're going to see a lot of very, very important things. We're going to see how his lead arm is covering his shoulder plane. We're going to see that's resulting in very good depth to his hand. See how that line we drew from butt end of the club to the ground is going around his heel region. So this is what's going to help him swing on path when he rotates very nicely in the downswing. A lot of you who try to have rotation in the downswing and you throw the club over the top because of it, a lot of it is because your left arm is up where we drew that line, far too vertical, no depth. So he's got that great depth there. He's also his right hip, it's like someone's grabbed that short pocket on the right and pulled it back. Brilliant stuff so far. Nice square club face. We can also see he's got good wrist angles there. A little bit of a bow in the left wrist, which he has a neutral grip, so it's kind of giving him a little bit of a stronger face. But that works well if you want to turn. So now let's start that downswing, and we're going to see some great things here. So first things first, let me circle this area. So you always hear me on my channel talk about lower body and mid-torso separation. So really from the rib cage and down. What I'm talking about is that movement, separating that lower body and mid-torso in transition. We can clearly see here, if you look at really kind of like the left side of his hip here, kind of that crease, how that's starting to move and turn back in this direction. So that's that separation movement. And look at where his chest is pointing. The chest is still pointing at the camera, but look at his hips. His hips are now almost already back to square with the golf ball, and he's only just started in that downswing. So this is very good lower body, mid-torso separation. Again, this is one of the things that keeps the club nicely on path as we turn down in the downswing. We don't just turn with everything when we're trying to rotate. We turn with the lower body and mid-torso first. So let's continue to go down. That quality of that movement has caused the shaft to get nice and shallow. You can also see how this right elbow is driving in. It's kind of happening naturally though. He's not necessarily trying to do it. It's happening naturally via good body movement. So now he's just got a green light to be able to unwind and turn. So one really important thing we're going to see happen now, because he's locked and loaded to rotate from here, is from left arm parallel, getting into the golf ball. His left leg is going to start to straighten. So it's going to start to extend, is what we're seeing right here. It's extending. So look, you can see a ton of this left leg here now on this side, where you can see it's really straightening up. So that's doing a couple things for him. That's getting that pelvis to open up more. The more you straighten that left leg, it's more going to be like, again, someone's grabbing the left trouser or short pocket and pulling it backwards. Helps to clear the hips in that last movement going through the golf ball. But doing that movement, gradually extending that left leg from left arm parallel, gradually down into impact, as we can see here. What is that doing? What's that doing for driver more than anything? that's getting that left side of the body to raise upwards, which doing that from left arm parallel into the golf ball makes you hit up on it. So this is very important for driver. And we can see, because that rotation is nice and continuous, that hand path exit nicely left. So a lot of you will be thinking hand path exiting left is something to do if you're holding off the golf shot or you're swinging, let's say, over the top out to in. You can see he's doing none of those. It's just because he's turning his body nicely in the downswing. Some really, really good movements here. So, moral of this story, he has his golf swing in a place to be able to turn. Nice square club face, shaft shallowing, good position of depth at the top. Nice lower body mid-torso separation, and then that good unwinding, most importantly that left side extension. So important. We see it happening, like we said, left arm parallel into the ball here with driver. We'll generally see it happen from this position here into the ball with irons, from shaft parallel into the ground. But it's so important to keep yourself continuing to open up and as well generate some power. Bill here can carry the golf ball 260 yards. So for someone who's in his 70s, that's incredibly, incredibly impressive. So we need to utilize this. Let's learn how to get it into your golf swing with these good movement patterns. So after having a good look through that analysis, you can tell Bill has a swing where his environment is there to be able to turn. So let's get into the three main things, movement pattern based, that Bill has that you can have a really good practice at. So three good drills here. So the first one, which is incredibly important, if you want a good downswing, you've got to start the downswing well. So that's having the lower body and mid-torso separate and rotate first. So the drill to do for this, something that you've seen a lot of if you watch a lot of my channel, and this is the resistance band drill that I put towards this upright, and then we just rotate just like we're going in that started downswing, but I'm rotating with the lower body and mid-torso. So from my rib cage and down is what I'm turning here. Because I'm gripping onto resistance, I can't do too much with my upper body, which is why we saw when Bill was turning in that downswing, he was not swinging over the top one bit because he separated lower body and mid-torso. So for all you guys out there who think as soon as you rotate, you swing over the top, that's just because your sequencing sucks. You need to practice this a lot. So lots and lots of lower body, mid-torso rotation. Most important thing to start that downswing. Now, these next two drills here, Bill's done a lot of work on these. So this one here now is the preset rotation drill. So again, you've probably seen this drill a lot, but this is a really, really good drill because it teaches the movement-based pattern of this rotational movement. So what we do, we get into an impact position, and this is our setup. So we open up the hips, we open up the chest, we have our right side, so our right shoulder down towards the right hip. We have a fairly straight left leg, and we have our weight 90% on that left leg. So now all we do, we swing back and swing through. So where we just spring back, spring through the shot, we would end up having a much more rotated position than we generally would normally get. But of course, to make a change in your golf swing, to swing in a specific way, you have to extreme it a little bit when you're practicing it. So you have to go as much as you can. And when you do this, guys, you have to really, really be at your end range of movement with that rotation. Whatever that might be in this preset position here, that's where you need to be. So just you can't go any more. So right now I can't go any more of my rotation than this. So now I swing back and swing through. Only just doing those little half swings, not necessarily swinging full at it, but that trains that good movement. So that's the piece of going from your transition. Now that's where that preset rotation is working on. So after we've got that good transition, preset rotation pieces that next bit in there. So there's a little bit for this second drill that we've already kind of practiced with that preset rotation, and that's the extension portion. So this is something we talked a lot about on that analysis, is how Bill was really continuing to clear his hips to get in that really rotated position. And this is something that a lot of you as soon as you get this, you'll think, oh, that's why I haven't been clearing my hips. It's not got nothing to do with my mobility and my flexibility. So when you straighten that left leg coming through the golf ball, we were seeing there with Bill with driver, which he was doing from left arm parallel into the golf ball, that straightened the left leg. That's what helped him hit on the up with his driver, doing it at that portion. But it also got that left hip to clear even more. When that left side straightens, that's the whole left side elongating, the left side of the pelvis moves backwards. So it continues that rotational move, gets you super open going through the shot. So with driver, like we saw with Bill, happens from left arm parallel, going into the shot with irons like I got here, happens from shaft parallel into the shot. So really feeling that left side really extend, really gets everything moving through the golf ball nicely. Great drill to do for it. Again, this is one I've talked about all the time on my channel, especially recently. That's with an alignment stick. All we do, have the alignment stick, put it on the ground. So we've got our toe line, we put it really on our toe line, just a little bit outside our trail foot, and then we slide it and elevate it. But that sliding and elevating that we're doing here is all done via straightening the left leg, which, like I said, straightens the whole left side of the body. So that means the left shoulder's going up as well, which will be elevating the club along with sliding it. So just straightening that left leg. That's the only thing I'm doing here. Everything's moving as a byproduct. Absolutely brilliant there. You can imagine if you did a ton of them and then hit a ball or two afterwards, just feeling that exact same feel. You'll be surprised at how open you actually get going through the golf shot without being incredibly flexible. So that's how Bill could rotate that well whilst being someone who's a senior golfer in his 70s. So it's a question I get all the time in my comment sections of my YouTube videos, even my Instagram, is people saying, this is all well and good advice. This would be what they were saying. And they'll say, I can't do that. I'm too old to do it. I mean, guys, like if you've gone through my channel, you see I'm disabled. I have cerebral palsy, which affects my left side of my body, albeit a minor version of it, but it still massively reduces my range of motion. Most of the reason I made this channel, because I know a lot of people are making some big excuses when it comes to rotation. Just really because they don't know enough about the topic, about how the body moves and how you can generally use that to your advantage. If you're not doing the right movement patterns, you can't say that your mobility is stopping it. It doesn't take much mobility to do this, going through the shot. It doesn't take too much mobility to have a square club face, to have the club shaft shallow. You might not be able to separate that lower body mid-torso as much as some others, but you'll still be able to do it enough to where you can start the downswing in a good sequencing. So that's really from there. You need to get the good things in your golf swing, like we see with Bill, like we might even see with my own golf swing, and this is very much possible. It does take a long time. This isn't something that just comes into your golf swing. This is something that takes, you know, depending on the amount you practice, this could take years to get into your golf swing, but you'll gradually improve as you go along with it. You're not just going to get this into your golf swing after a week, that's for certain. So absolutely, have a good absorption, I guess you could say, of this information, but then you're going to benefit massively from applying these drills and copying Bill with what he does there. Amazing golfer. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. So if you do this, you will rotate just like Bill.